3 years ago, we were all waiting for a large storm to make landfall in the Western Cape. As a company, we've been sending out warnings that we'd received from the South African Weather Service in order to try and help raise awareness. On the morning of the 7th of June, I woke early, grabbed my camera, got in my car, and drove around to capture images that we could use for future awareness campaigns. Little did I realize, as anyone else at that time, that the ferocious winds and conditions we were experiencing were having a very, very different impact on our southern coastline. The gale force winds coincided with the eruption of two fires. One, a smouldering fire that had likely occurred from a lightning strike months previously in Elandskraal, and the other a fire that began in the early hours of the morning in the plantation of Kruisfontein. By the time images and knowledge of the fires was being widely shared on social media, the lives of the Johnson family had already been lost, and the people in the Knysna area were in deep trouble. The fires burned into the towns of Knysna and Plettenberg Bay, resulting in a massive loss of homes and sadly the loss of more lives. When the fires had finally been contained, 8 people had died. When you see how the fires raged across the landscape, you realize that number could have been much higher. There was a lot of misunderstanding on social media about how and why so many homes were being lost, and a lack of clarity on the loss of lives that had occurred. We felt helpless being in Cape Town, as we knew there was no point in us going up to Knysna unless we could make a positive contribution. The area was already filled with emergency services. That opportunity arose when we were asked to travel to Knysna on the 12th of June and begin documenting and gaining an understanding of how the fire had spread into so many homes, and also gather as much information as possible on how the tragic loss of 8 lives had occurred.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and this is Patrick. We're heading up to Knysna and Plettenberg Bay. We're from Vulcan Wildfire Management, and we're going up for a few days to do a strategic analysis of the area, to look at things from a constructive perspective, to see what lessons can be learned and how we can fine-tune operations, and more from the mitigation side, the preventative side, what we can do more to prepare for wildfires that occur in the urban environment, such as we've seen in the Knysna fire. Throughout the week, we'll try and keep you updated and keep in touch in terms of our findings and how we analyze the area.
And then we moved around to go and have a look at some of the houses and devastation around the Robberg area. With the light getting late, we're going to have to come back again tomorrow, but there's no getting used to the devastation you see around you. And we've been seeing this all day long from the air and now on the ground. We're in the Hockeville forest. We came here to have a look at the fire behavior, see how it moved through this area. What struck us as we were walking through in this area you can see around me, is the way all these trees have been blown over, and it's a very concentrated area running next to one of the roads, where it almost looks like possibly a small tornado or whirl moved through here, blowing everything over, or in extreme wind conditions. However, it is completely concentrated going down here for about a 150 meter area. It just again shows you the intensity of the conditions on that day. The result of that journey up the coast was the realization that a much greater study was needed, that we needed to go and conduct more interviews, do more field research, and capture more images in order to understand exactly what had happened, and in order to put together a report for the Western Cape government. This eventually was released as the situational analysis of the 2017 Knysna Fires. We also produced a documentary film in order to share with a wider audience the knowledge that we gained while doing this report. This is going to be shown in the following days, starting on the 7th, in edited sections. We do this in memory of those who have lost so much, and in order for the lessons learned to be shared as widely as possible. This happened 3 years ago. What have you done to reduce your risk since then? We must learn these lessons, we must take actions, and we must become wildfire ready.